Top 15 challenges facing Nigerian churches today. Nigerian churches have played a pivotal role in the country's social, moral, and spiritual life. However, like many religious institutions globally, they are not without their challenges. I explore 15 of the most pressing issues facing Nigerian churches today based on real and factual observations. Number one, corruption and ethical concerns. Corruption is a significant issue in many sectors of Nigerian society, and unfortunately, the church is not exempted. Instances of financial mismanagement, moral failures, and unethical behavior among church leaders have been noticed. These issues range from embezzlement of church funds to sexual misconduct, leading to a decline in the moral authority of the church. For example, there have been cases where church leaders were caught in scandals involving misappropriated tithes and offerings, leading to public outrage and diminishing trust among congregants. Number two, security challenges. The security situation in Nigeria poses a direct threat to churches, particularly in the northern and middle belt regions. Insurgent groups like Boko Haram and bandits have specifically targeted Christian communities, leading to the destruction of churches, killings, and kidnappings. The most notable incidents include the abduction of Chibok guys, many of whom were members of local churches, and the repeated attacks on churches in Borno, Kaduna, and Benue states. The constant threat of violence has made it difficult for churches to operate freely, particularly in areas dominated by these insurgents. Number three, persecution and religious intolerance. Religious intolerance remains a serious issue, especially in northern Nigeria where Sharia law is prevalent. Christians in these regions face daily discrimination and, in some cases, violent persecution. Instances of church being denied permits to build or even being destroyed are not uncommon. Additionally, there are reports of Christians being forced to convert to Islam under duress, facing social ostracism and even death if they refuse. This intolerance has created an atmosphere of fear and suspicion, hindering interfaith dialogue and cooperation. Number four, doctrinal conflicts. The Nigerian church landscape is diverse, with numerous denominations, each holding unique doctrinal positions. This diversity, while enriching, has also led to conflicts. Disputes over issues such as the interpretation of scriptures, the role of spiritual gifts, and the emphasis on prosperity teaching have caused divisions within the Christian community. These conflicts often lead to division, with dissatisfied members breaking away to form new churches. An example is the proliferation of Pentecostal churches that arose from disagreement within traditional denominations. Number five, economic hardship. Nigeria's economic challenges, characterized by high unemployment rates, inflation, and poverty, directly impact the church. Many congregants struggle to make ends meet, reducing the ability to support the church financially. This has led to a decline in tithes and offerings, which are crucial for funding church activities, including outreach programs, welfare initiatives, and infrastructure development. Churches in economically disadvantaged areas are particularly affected as they rely heavily on local donations to sustain their operations. Number six, political interference. The intersection of religion and politics in Nigeria has led to increased political interference in church affairs. Politicians often seek the endorsement of influential church leaders, offering financial incentives or political favors in return. This has led to division within congregations, as members may support different political candidates. Additionally, the perception that churches are aligning too closely with political interests can undermine their spiritual mission and alienate congregants who feel that the church should remain apolitical. Number seven, loss of moral authority. The church's moral authority is being eroded due to various scandals involving its leaders. Instances of pastors living extravagant lifestyles, engaging in sexual immorality, or being involved in financial misconduct have been widely publicized. This has led to a loss of respect for church leadership and a questioning of the church's role as a moral guide in society. The situation is compounded by the fact that some church leaders have been slow to address these issues, further damaging the church's reputation. Number eight, youth disengagement. The younger generation in Nigeria is increasingly disengaged from traditional church practices. Many young people find the church's teachings out of touch with contemporary issues and are drawn to alternative sexualities or secularism. This disengagement is partly due to the church's failure to address the specific needs and concerns of the youth, such as unemployment, social justice, and technological advancement. As a result, churches are witnessing a decline in youth participation, which pose a threat to their future growth and sustainability. Number nine, secularization and cultural shifts. The rise of secularism and rapid cultural shifts, particularly due to globalization and the influence of social media, present significant challenges to Nigerian churches. Traditional Christians' values are increasingly being questioned, and there is a growing acceptance of lifestyle and beliefs that conflict with church teachings. Issues such as LGBTQ plus rights, premarital sex, and cohabitation are becoming more prominent, and the church stance on these matters often leads to tension with broader societal trends. Number 10, health and wellness crisis. Nigerian churches have historically played a crucial role in addressing public health issues, but recent challenges have stretched their resources thin. The COVID-19 pandemic, for example, disrupted regular church services and activities, forcing many churches to adapt to new forms of worship, such as online services. Additionally, churches have had to respond to other health crises such as HIV, AIDS, and malaria by providing education, support, and sometimes medical care to affected congregants. The strain on church resources and the need for constant adaptation to new health challenges have been significant. Number 11, gender issues and discrimination. Gender roles within Nigeria churches remain a contentious issue. While women constitute a significant portion of church membership and are active in various ministries, they are often underrepresented in leadership positions. Some denominations still hold traditional views that restrict women from becoming pastors or holding senior leadership roles. This has led to debates within the church community about gender equality and the role of women in ministry. The resistance to change in this area has also caused dissatisfaction among female congregants and leaders. Number 12, false prophecies and prosperity gospel. The spread of false prophecies and the emphasis on the prosperity gospel are major challenges facing Nigerian churches. Some church leaders have gained notoriety for making unfulfilled prophecies or promising miracles in exchange for money. The prosperity gospel, which teaches that financial blessings and physical well being are God's will for believers, has led to theological confusion and exploitation. Many congregants, especially those in desperate situations, have been misled into giving large sums of money to the church in the hope of receiving miraculous blessings. Number 13, lack of accountability. Many Nigerian churches operate with limited oversight and accountability, particularly regarding financial matters. In some cases, church leaders have complete control over church funds with little transparency or check and balances. This lack of accountability can lead to financial mismanagement and abuse of power. Additionally, the absence of structured governance in some churches makes it difficult to address issues of misconduct or implement necessary reforms. Number 14, infrastructure and resource limitations. Churches in rural area and economically disadvantaged area often face significant infrastructure and resource limitations. These churches may lack adequate buildings for worship, educational material for Sunday school, or technology to facilitate modern forms of communication and ministry. This makes it challenging to effectively minister to their congregants and to grow their influence in the community. The lack of resources also limits the church's ability to engage in outreach programs or provide social services to the needy. Number 15, ecumenical relations. The relationship between different Christian denominations in Nigeria is often strained. While there are efforts to promote unity among Christians, deep-seated doctrinal differences and competition for congregants have hindered economical cooperation. This division weakens the overall impact of the Christian community in addressing social and moral issues in Nigeria. Additionally, the lack of a unified voice makes it more difficult for churches to advocate for religious freedoms and other common concerns in a predominantly religious society. In conclusion, the challenges facing Nigerian churches today are multifaceted and deeply rooted in the broader social, political, and economic context of the country. Addressing these issues requires a concerted effort from church leaders, congregants, and the wider Christian community. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.